Start my recording. So this is HSMP 50/50. This is healthcare, accounting, and finance. Like I said, we've got an online section and an on-ground section. So we'll be recording through Integrity as well as doing the live streaming. I thought what I could do first is kind of give you an orientation to class, kind of how I have everything set up and why I kind of set up the D2L site the way I did. And then we've got 2 lectures that I'm going to try and get through today. If not, we'll just kind of bleed it over into next week. More than likely, we're probably going to get out. I don't know what's going on here with this little guy. Okay. More than likely, we're probably going to get out early sometimes because, you know, we can cover the material in like an hour and a half, 2 hours to where you guys understand it. There's no reason for me to kind of spread it out. And, you know, hopefully everybody would like to, you know, have a little bit of their afternoon back. So, so we'll go over the D2L site first. I don't have anything posted on the news feed yet, but I like the news feed. I probably overuse it, but just make sure I, you know, just like to pass along things of interest. I'll make updates about class. You know, actually, you know, you've seen like 1,000 posts on for class. Yeah, I'm a GIF. I like GIFs. I like memes. I mean, I'm just a real dork. So I'll post a lot of stuff here. But you know, you guys always welcome in my office if you have questions. Email probably is the quickest way to get a hold of me just because I'm in and out so much. But, you know, if I'm ever in my office, even if I have the door closed, just go ahead and knock because chances are I'm probably just trying to keep the heat in so I'm not being antisocial or anything. So under the content tab, I went ahead and listed everything you'll need. My view may just look slightly different than what you guys have because I have instructor view, but it should be set up similar. So I've got the syllabus supplemental information. We'll go over that today. And then everything's broken out into modules. We have 6 modules for the semester, and under those, I have, let's see, it's being very slow. I have your PowerPoints that we're going to cover through each module for that. So today we're going to go over Intro to Finance and Financial Environment. What I have at the bottom, I also have separate breakout modules for your homework assignments that are listed on your course schedule. There are solutions. They are available the day after the assignments due. So homework assignment 1 and 2, you'll have 2 throughout the semester. You have 4 case studies, I believe. You have 2 that are problem sets, so you'll actually be going in and working some different financial problems. And those are just right here. And then, oh, why did it go all the way back out like that? That's not good. And then we have ethical case studies where I just present you with kind of this ethical dilemma, and you just, there's no really right or wrong answer. I'm just curious to see, based on what we've talked about in class, kind of how you would decide what to do. Now, the things that I will be looking for on ethical case studies, I have the guidelines set out, and there is a rubric. I'll show you how to get to it in just a second. But there are some guidelines. You know, they're pretty easy. Just make sure you read over your paper before you turn it in, because I don't want to take points off for like no page numbers or no title page or, you know, simple things like that. The majority of your points are going to come from the content and development and the organization and structure, and then you have the formatting and grammar. So just make sure you run a spell check, grammar check, and go through, just make sure all your T's are crossed, I's are dotted. But you're going to submit those to Dropbox. When you do your references for the ethical case studies, you don't have, unless it's a printed copy that, like, I can only go to the library and print, a hyperlink will be fine when you format your references, just as long as I can get some access to it. Now for this, what I'm looking for is not so much a summary of the case study, but just more of your analysis of what's going on and kind of how you would decide what to do. And I know I'm jumping around back and forth, so if I'm confusing you, just stop me. So to help you with that, because the first time I did this, I noticed a lot of students were giving me more summaries than analysis. Hey, come on in. No, you're fine. We just started.
Crazy pockets.
So we're just going over kind of course requirements right now, Ollie. So like I was saying, the first time I did this assignment, I noticed a lot of students were giving me more summaries than analysis. So this is something I started putting with every one of my classes that I teach, whether you use it or not. It's out there to help you. But it kind of goes over what is an analysis and what is a summary. So if you find yourself having a difficult time making sure you're not doing a summary over analysis, you can bring this little document up and it'll give you an example, and you can kind of base your answers off that. And then your final project. So we'll go ahead and start talking about that, and then I'll jump back to the course calendar and we'll go over that too. So you do have a project for this semester. It's an individual project that you'll work on. And my only really criteria for your topic selection, you can write on any topic that you want, as long as it's related to some type of current issue in healthcare finance. So, I've had people write on, of course, value-based purchasing. I've had people write on population health. I've had people write on Medicare, Medicaid fraud. So really, any topic you want, as long as it's a current issue related to finance. Now, you do have to submit your project topic to me by February 5th. There's a Dropbox already set up. I think that week we will not be having class, so that I can give you guys this kind of 3-hour span to start working on your project, give you that kind of extra day. But please make sure that you do have it in by February 5th, because I'll take out 5 points if I don't have a topic yet. They are first come, first serve, so if you have one you're like, I really want to write on this, and so does Rachel, so I'm going to submit before, you want to get it in before somebody else does, to make sure you get the topic that you want, because they are, like I said, first come, first serve. So with the project, there's 2 components to it. There's going to be an oral presentation at the end of the semester, and then there's going to be a paper component due. So the oral presentation, I believe, is one of the very last days of class. I think we have a guest speaker to kind of come in and sum up the semester for us. And then we'll do 1 day of just our presentations. They are going to be 20 to 25 minutes. And there is a rubric that I have available that you can kind of go and see what the criteria is to make sure you hit all the points. Just a couple kind of highlight points that I wanted to make sure you're aware of. And we can go over this again closer to time to the presentation, but really make sure you rehearse it before you deliver it. I want you to just come in and stand here and go, do not read your presentation. Rehearse it before you deliver it. It needs to just be highlight talking points as a tool to assist you to get through the presentation. Between the midterm and the end of the semester exams when they'll be given. And I'm really just going to determine who goes when. Everybody's going to go on the same day, but I'm just going to kind of do numbers to let you guys know who's going. Here's some more details just about the presentation. So I highly encourage you guys to bring in handouts. If you have some little activity that's maybe 5 minutes or less to assist you through your presentation, you can do that. You can bring in examples, anything to kind of enhance what you're talking about in your presentation would be really good. Again, your time limit, minimum of 20 minutes, maximum of 25 minutes, including question and answer time. And these are some things I'm really going to be looking for through your presentation. So your presentation should kind of be a summary, I guess, of your paper. You shouldn't add anything extra in that's not included in your paper. It should just go over and give the highlights of what's in your paper, and the paper should be more detailed report of what you guys present on. So I'm going to be looking, did you practice? Were you prepared? Did you come in professional dress? Were you confident? Could you articulate what you wanted to get across? Let's see. Did you address the project topic, which hopefully should be fairly simple. If you had visual materials, hopefully you'll be using something like PowerPoint or Prezi. Did it really work to complement your oral presentation? And then the information, this is something we've started to really focus in on throughout the department, making sure that you meet the NTOP form. Do you remember that from undergrad, NTOP form? The other ones that were not in the undergrad program here may not recognize that, but it's just about how you go and search out information, make sure you're getting credible sources, not going to like Wikipedia or .blog or something to get your information. You're going to like a .gov or a .org, or you're using peer-reviewed articles from like the American Hospital Association, things like that. So this is for your presentation. Your paper, oh, and I meant to say your presentation is going to be 10% of that final grade. Your paper is going to be 20%. So again,
same topic?
Yeah, same topic. Yeah, what you write in the paper should be what you present on. The presentation should just be a kind of a high-level overview of your paper. Your paper, 20% of your final grade. And again, just like it says up here, it should not be a script of your oral presentation. It should take maybe a deeper dive into what you're talking about. I'll have a rubric again, and I'll show you here in a minute how to access that. I have some guidelines. Just to make sure, we're all on the same page and aware of what's going on. You should kind of have the following outline. So your research topic, your coverage, how it kind of relates back into the course, and then your own personal impressions, why you think or feel the way you do, and how you can back that up with evidence. I'm going to be looking at formatting. So you need to at least have 4 references, and they need to be quality references. So again, please don't put Wikipedia in your paper. I may mark it 0 if I see Wikipedia. You guys are grad students. You know what quality references are. So just and if you have any question about is this reference quality, just let me know. Your referencing style throughout. You should use APA. And again, just like your case studies, I need access to those, and hyperlinks are fine if you want to link that up. But I will be running your papers through turnitin.com. Is everybody familiar with Turnitin? Okay, so I don't have to go over that.
Will we be able to do it by any chance?
Well, what?
Like, will we be able to do it before we turn it in?
Yeah.
By any chance? Okay.
So I will, if I don't already, I'll make sure, but I believe I have the Dropbox completely open right now. I think the only thing I have on the Dropbox is an end date.
Okay.
So you can submit your paper as many times as you want to the Dropbox and get that little bar that tells you like what percentage you have. I will just take the last copy that's in there. So whatever your final one you submit, make sure that's the one you want graded. But yeah, you can submit as many times as you want to turn it in. Now the thing to realize with that, I don't know if you guys have access to go in and look at the reports. Like Ashley, if you submit your paper once and then you submit it again, your paper's in the database. So it's going to pull.
It calculates both.
Yeah, so it'll pull from your paper. So if you have like a 35% the first time you submit it, and then you submit it the next time, it jumps up to 85, don't be nervous. It's because it's pulled from your first submission out. So if you have any questions, or if it like jumps up an extraordinary amount, come and see me. We'll make an appointment. We'll sit down and look at it. I'll show you like, yeah, it did take from this part of your paper. Don't worry about that. So if you have any questions, about that, just wanted to make sure you're aware. The normal rules apply. It needs max of 12 pages. So this is not including cover page. You do need an executive summary. If you have any graphics or anything you want to kind of help supplement what you're talking about in your paper, that's fine. Just put them in as an appendix, and then your reference page. So this is the big one people try to get away with a lot. 6.5 pages is not 7 pages. So if you turn in 6.5 pages, you're not going to meet the minimum page number requirement, and so I'll be taking points off for that. Normal rules, 12 point Times New Roman, double space, type. Please make sure to just, I'm always amazed at how many people don't run a spelling or grammar check before they turn in their final paper, so it just takes like 5 seconds. Just hit the spell check and let it run. This is another one people forget sometimes. I don't know why. It's like an easy couple little points. I hate to take it off, but, if you don't have page numbers, I'm going to be taking points off. APA, yeah. So there is one page that has to be the first.
APA?
Yeah. Right here.
Yeah, we got
APA.
big fans of APA.
It does have to be APA.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
You really like APA?
I do like APA
Why?
because I just like it.
I have to reteach myself.
Well, there's a great thing called citation machine, and it can cite in any
Okay.
format, so you can use that.
It's more about like in the paper. I don't know what to write.
It's full of
You know what I mean?
I'm more
The in-text
concerned.
citations.
With
I'm
the
just more
end
concerned
form.
with the in-text citations and things like that.
You
So-
are more concerned with the in-text.
Yeah,
citations?
as far as the format is pretty consistent. I think from format change to format change with a couple little differences. But if you go to like Mendeley or Citation Machine, they have different
I
options.
think it does
do.
give you an in-text citation.
It does. You
One of them
can.
does. I know one of the citing.
Citation Machine does. When you put in the information, the first thing it'll pop up is the reference citation. Put on your reference page, but you can click in-text citation, and it'll tell you how to cite it. So. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'm pretty flexible. You guys know, if you've had any class before or worked with me for any amount of time, I'm kind of all
I
over the
didn't know
place.
you liked
So,
APA.
let's see. So there, and I'll go to this in just a second, but there is one piece of paper that has to be the very first page of everybody's project, and that's your project paper submission form. So if you don't turn this in, I would take 5 points off. But this is just kind of your. Well, I'll go over it in just a second. We'll look at it. Executive summary, no more than 1 page. Electronic copy. Okay, I did take that out. I used to have to bring in a paper copy, and I was like, well, that's a little ridiculous. I'll just have you put the electronic copy in. You do have to submit your paper and your presentation. I have a separate Dropbox for each, so make sure you turn. And the presentation is going to be ran through turnitin.com too, so just something to be aware of. Writing style and sentence structure, avoid any slang terms. You guys are graduate students. Very professional writing is kind of what I expect out of this. No less than 70% of the content should be in your own words and thoughts, not direct quotes or phrases. Like it says, I'm far more interested in what you think, what you've learned, how you can kind of relate it back to the class, and to see that you really got something out of this project and you were, able to learn something you didn't know before you started. And, I can't overstate it enough because I have it in here like 5 times, proofread, because I would hate to, take things off. And then at the end, I just give you kind of a checklist to make sure you got everything in. So the only thing you should bring into class this day, and I will bring these in and you'll just pick them up. We're going to do in class like peer evaluations. I'll have a couple of questions that you guys will answer for the person presenting, just, to see what you're getting out of their presentation. Good so far? I feel like I've really flown through.
So there's no group project?
No group project. Everybody just breathes a sigh of relief. It's all individual projects. So here is the individual presentation materials. I think it's, so
I don't
here's,
want to work with you guys anyway.
so here's the grading rubric for the oral presentation. Again, if you want target, just meet every point on this list and you'll get target. If for some reason you are okay with unacceptable, then by all means don't meet every point on this list. But it's really just kind of up to you on what grade you get. I give you the criteria of what I'm looking for. So, target 6, and I have the points listed out. So, appropriate introductory remarks, background information on your topic, your outline is easy to follow. Are you on topic? You make conclusive remarks. You had appropriate use of overheads. You met the time limit. You were professional demeanor with your speaking style, your professional dress, all that stuff. So that's the presentation rubric. And this is the project paper submission form that I was telling you about. And this may look familiar from quality, Rachel, because it is, I stole it. But I just wanted to, I'm always interested, especially for my online students too, because I don't get to interact with them in class like this. But I always like to hear what you thought was most difficult about the project. A lot of times instructors ask, what were the 3 things you gained from this project? But I want to know what was the most difficult things so that I know how to improve this course or improve this project for the next group of students that are coming in to take the class. So you guys are helping me do some quality improvement as we go throughout the semester. Same with your SAIs. You know, I take really seriously what you guys say on the SAIs and how to improve my courses. So I just want to know kind of what you thought were the most difficult things. That says team, but it should say individual. How long did it take you to complete the project? And then just kind of your verification to me that you did all these things. And then this is kind of my abbreviated rubric from D2L that I'll fill out for you. Let's see. Now, one thing that did come from past student suggestions, so see a little quality improvement here. I had a lot of students that were confused on what to write, or they knew what they wanted to write on, but they just couldn't conceptualize how to put it to paper. So I have some project examples from past students. These were more of the high performers in class. So unfortunately, you can't write on the topics that are, that are the examples. But here's one, a student that did population health management. You can kind of see how they have everything set up here. And then, wow, okay, just started going crazy. And then, so I have one example, and I have another slightly different example to kind of show you. This one was healthcare fraud and abuse. So, somebody playing on right now.
I thought about it.
Yeah, it was a really good paper. They set it up really well, so I wanted to make sure to use it as an example, but you can kind of see, just give you the general outline, give you an idea of kind of what I'm looking for. And like I said, these were more of the top performers in the class. I think I covered everything here. Let me make sure. Yeah, so you can see I have it kind of broken out. Sometimes there will be different things. You can print these out or bring them in on your laptop or whatever, but I have some Excel kind of documents. Let's go over what's under syllabus and supplemental information. So what I've done, here's the complete and full syllabus, but what I did is I just broke out the course schedule so you can have quick and easy quick and easy access to it. So we'll go over a couple of the assignments, just make sure everyone's on the same page. So instead of what you may be used to traditionally of like January 23rd, February 6th, the dates, I just broke it out into weeks since we only meet once a week. Kind of give you what we're talking about through that week. So like for today, course orientation, we're going to start into finance basics, which I think is called Introduction to Healthcare Finance on your D2L. And then we're going to talk about insurance and reimbursement methodologies. And if we don't finish, we'll just bleed it over into the next class. But we should get through it. Objectives and kind of what the associated readings are here. And then any assignments due. So like today, this is, let's see. I don't remember if you guys have a syllabus quiz. I'll look just to make sure. But you have weekly quizzes, or you'll have and sometimes it'll happen that you'll have a quiz and a homework assignment due within the same week. Quizzes open at 8 a.m. Monday, on that Monday morning, and they stay up until Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So you have all week to work on them. Same with the drop boxes for any homework assignments or for any case studies. They'll open up Monday morning at 8 o'clock. And then they'll close at Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So same for the online group. So you guys have a whole week to work on them. Just be aware, January 30th, giving you the week off to get your project topic in, and then just giving you time to work on your projects. I know it's a little intense, and everybody's busy with work and school, so I want to make sure you kind of have this dedicated 3-hour time to work on the project.
Should we come here, or should we?
You can. I'll be happy to come. We have the room from 1 to 3:50, so I'll be happy to open the room up. If it's not open and you want to come in here and work, stop by my office. I'll grab a key. No big deal.
When is the project due?
The project is due week of April 10th. So everything has to be in before we come into class. This is the only kind of Dropbox that's different. Everything needs to be in the Dropbox by 1 o'clock before we come into class that day.
We come in the 11th.
Is it the 11th?
Yeah,
Okay,
but it's still due on the 10th, right? Or is it due on the 11th?
I don't know.
Because
Will
we
you
run
write that down for me?
Tuesday, right?
Yeah, Tuesday. It should say the 11th, if the 11th is a Tuesday. Sorry about that. So I'll make that adjustment and update the syllabus. Let's see. So you have exams. We have 3 exams. None of them are cumulative. So exam 1 is just going to be everything we cover up until exam 1. Start fresh over with exam 2. I do my exams online. So on weeks that we have exams, you don't have to come to class. But you do, have to log in, take the exam. The same rules apply for the exam that apply for like the quizzes and stuff. So they're going to open Monday morning at 8 o'clock and they're going to close Sunday at 11:59. If there are questions on the exam that are fill in the blank, short answer, things like that, detail will automatically count those wrong. Don't freak out if you get a low score at first, because I do have a couple of those types of questions on the exam and I have to manually go in and grade them. So whatever grade you see when you submit it is not going to be your final grade. I also go through the exams and look at each question, and if for some reason the class, either online or on ground, missed more than half the class missed the question, I go back and see, was it worded weird, or, did everybody choose this one answer and why? So I go back in and I do a thorough review of the exams. So my whole point of that was just, if whatever grade you see when you submit, it's not going to be your final grade. So that's exams. Of course, we don't have any class during spring break. That's the 6th through the 10th. Let's see. So project presentations, again, the week of April 10th, so that'll be April 11th. Attendance is mandatory for this. Like I said, everybody's going to get a piece of paper that you kind of follow along with the presenter. There'll be a couple questions for you to answer. And then we're going to end the class. The last time we'll be together to meet will be the week of April 17th. We're going to have a guest speaker come in this day. It's going to be Kelly Simpson. She is the Director of Finance for Mountain States Health Alliance. So she's going to come in and kind of just give us her impressions from an industry standpoint, kind of what's going on out in the field, what they're anticipating from Mountain State's side. I just assume that she'll talk about the merger too, kind of how that's going to, anybody you have from Mountain States or Wellmont that comes in, they're going to inevitably talk about the merger. And she's just I'm using her as kind of a wrap up for the semester to kind of bring together everything we talked about, and then just kind of give us her perspective from an industry standpoint. So there is an assignment here, again, same rules apply for the Dropbox, but, just this one is a summary, just, what she talked about, 1 page, very short, make sure you have all this information on it, and then submit that to the Dropbox. Let me back up just 1 second because there's a couple. So if you'll notice, the chapters usually are just like read chapter 10. It's going to correlate with what we're going to talk about in class. The last 2 sections, I kind of took these chapters and smushed them together because it was a lot of high level stuff that you're not going to really want to think about unless you go into finance and you're going to really study finance from a healthcare perspective. And I took these chapters 14 through 16 and did the same thing. I view this class and my job to kind of give you that foundational background into healthcare accounting finance so that you can at least my goal is to, when you step out of class, you're at least aware enough of the terms and what we're talking about that you can carry on a conversation about healthcare accounting and finance when you get out to do your internships. Or if you, continue on to grad school or, when you go get a career. So that's why I kind of took these courses or these chapters and kind of smushed them together because it's a lot of high level overview stuff. And then exam 3 is going to be that week of April 24th, which I think is the week before finals. Is that right?
I'm not really sure.
Oh, I think it's the week before finals. I think the last week of finals finals week is that first week of May. So I hope I said it correctly. Because I wanted to give you just finals week open.
Finals is April 29th to May 4th.
Okay, so the week after this.
Yeah.
So this is kind of my treat to you. You don't have to worry about healthcare, accounting, and finance third finals week. Not cumulative. Again, it's just everything we've discussed since exam 2. So it'll be this kind of smushed chapters together is what's going to be on that final
And
exam.
do we still have like that whole week to do that board exam, or is it that day
Let's look.
for the final?
You do have a syllabus quiz, so make sure you go on and do that. You cannot access any content in the course until you take the syllabus quiz and score 100% on it. The Respondus sample quiz is if you've not, has anybody not taken a quiz with Respondus before? No? Okay, so Respondus is, or you may have heard it called Lockdown Browser.
Oh, yeah.
Have you used Lockdown? Okay, so if you don't have the software on your computer, or if you're not really sure, this is going to put that software on your computer. That's why I listed it up here for you to take. It's really puts the software on, you just type in your name to let you know that you took it. Let's see. So exam 3, that's a 1-year question. Yeah, April 24th, opens at 8, closes at 11:59 p.m. Same with the chapter quiz, you can see down through here. Opens at 8 a.m., closes at 11:59. No discussion boards for the on-ground group. There's some set up for the online group. And then drop boxes, already have them set up. Like I said, due dates are already in there. That's going to say individual. I just haven't updated it yet. So just make sure you get the appropriate thing to the appropriate drop box. And so to access the rubrics. Now this is where it may look a little different for you guys, just based on okay, hold on. I gotta chat in. Okay, I'll have to take care of that. Can you make a note? Check on the audio. Yeah. It's so nice having you in class. I don't even have to bring a pen. So to oh man, if I don't have audio, that means it's not recording on integrity. Okay, so the rubrics. They should be under course tools and rubrics. Now this is where mine looks different. You should only see this ethics case study rubric and this research paper rubric.
We see all that.
Yeah, you should only see 2. Do you see all
I
of them?
see all 4.
All 4?
And it says status like draft too.
It does.
Yeah.
So you just can do a drop down preview, and then here's how I'm going to be grading your ethics papers. Does it show up correctly?
Was that the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, I messed up. Preview?
Okay. So this is how I'm going to be grading your ethics papers. 1 and A, meet everything in the target box. It's just as simple as that. Same with your research papers. So just be looking over that. Let's see. Anything else that I may not have covered that you guys have questions about? Do you want me to review over the syllabus? Already looked over
I
it.
just missed when you what about the exams. She said the whole week. We have that whole week.
Yep.
Okay.
So they're
I
going
was
to
writing down doing syllabus.
No,
quiz, I
that's
missed that.
fine. They're going to open at 8. Everything always opens at 8 a.m. on Monday, and everything always closes
And then
at 11:59
No
on
class on
Sundays.
exam days, right? This week.
Do what?
No class on the exam days.
No class on the exam days. No class on the project day, the February 5th, I think. The only Dropbox that's the exception is your presentation and your project paper. So those are due by 1 o'clock on the 11th. Any other questions? Anything? I feel like I went by really fast, but it's 1:45 already, so I've been talking for a long time. Why don't we go ahead and take a quick break? I'm going to see if I can get this